If you've ever opened up ChatGPT and thought, okay, now what? Or maybe you've signed up for some AI tool that promised to save you a ton of time, but instead you opened it up and it just sat there collecting dust in your bookmarks. If that is you, well, this episode is going to change the way that you look at AI. Today, we are talking with someone who's done all the research, they've tested all the tools, and they've built the actual workflows that help small business owners scale without getting overwhelmed. Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success. Welcome back to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Today, my guest is the founder of Avenue 9. Mike is the leading voice in what he calls human-first AI marketing. Mike's worked with some big names like LinkedIn, Uber, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the Kansas City Chiefs. But what I love is how he's now focused on helping small business owners like you and me use AI in a practical, affordable, and actually aligned with our values. So he actually just released the 2025 Avenue 9 AI Marketing Awards, where he named 9 AI tools that every small business owner should know about. And today we're actually going to talk about each and every one. So Mike, thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today.
Katie, so good to be here. I feel like we are kindred spirits. You weren't supposed to mention which NFL team I was a broadcaster for, but that's okay. I'll try to make it up to the audience as soon as possible. But we've shared virtual stages on like the Pod Profits Summit and interviewed multiple of the same guests and stuff. But now we finally get a chance to talk. This is fun.
I know. Before we get into the tools, let's just talk about philosophy for a second, because human first AI marketing, what does that even really mean? And why do you think, because we talked about this with all of my guests, we have a pre-call, and you and I talked about this in addition to football in the pre-call. Why do you think that human first AI marketing extremely important right now?
Well, it's interesting. I saw you just had Sarah Nay on your podcast recently, and she talks about trust first marketing, and obviously we're aligned there. Our parents were actually growing up together in Kansas City. So she grew up in Kansas City. Her dad and my dad was like a sales guru. Her dad was a marketing guru. And to me, that goes back to all of those things that we've known for a long, long time, which is that there's certain things about human psychology, trust building, the way people buy and get to know, like, and trust somebody. Her dad, John Jantz, wrote about the marketing hourglass and how you get people to know, like, trust you, and then buy, repeat, and refer. And I find it fascinating that AI tools speed everything up.
Yep.
But trust is a slow process. And so it kind of inherently works against one another. And that's what makes it so important right now at this moment, is that everything is getting faster. And when it gets faster, the trust lowers, the reliability comes down, your credibility comes down, because anybody could have made this. Just mistakes increase, and there's no actual human contact or interaction to build from. So I think it's weird, but I don't know if it's my age. You can tell me, Katie, but I think we've gotten to a point where we officially need to slow things down instead of speed them up.
I agree. I was just talking to my best friend on the phone yesterday, because she was saying, like, that she's working with trying to develop some of these different AI agents to build. Things move so fast. And I was like, you know what? Just give it like next quarter. Don't worry about building these agents. I'm sure, ChatGPT is just going to be able to even just say, build the agent for you. Things move so fast today.
You bring up agents, and that's what I'm really worried about. I use the Terminator versus Iron Man analogy. I'm worried that there are a lot of spammers and scammers out there that are going to go with the Terminator version of developing these AI agents and just spam the hell out of our list and just scrape everybody's email and send them this automated email. And it might be a custom, email with points and about where you live and all of this other stuff, but it still feels like spam.
Well, I was going to say, like, that actually, with ChatGPT, it's made it so that it's so easy for us to move so fast. And,
Right.
that was actually number one on your list, was
Yeah.
ChatGPT. And it's allowed us to move so quickly. And I think that you had it listed as most likely to write your autobiography, and I think that this is where with ChatGPT is making us move so quickly and so fast. But at the same time, is it making us move too fast? Like, is it taking away our voices?
I think so. So the analogy I like better is the Iron Man one. If you're a Marvel superhero fan, you know that Iron Man is a Tony Stark, a human inside the suit who gets wrapped in technology and has Jarvis AI in his ear to talk to him and show him things that he wouldn't otherwise be aware of as a human. And so it turns Tony, the human, into the superhero through this technology, not replacing him, not automating him or doing the job for him, but making him do the job at a superhuman level. And that's what I think about with ChatGPT is that I treat it like my Jarvis AI. So, hey, keep track of this for me. And now it has greater memory. These are some of the other improvements. If you didn't know, in the last, few months, 3 to 6 months, they've added like saving all of your chats and bigger windows of things to remember. And you can create custom GPTs. And for $20 a month, it can be your personal AI, your Jarvis, to say, hey, what did I forget? What was I supposed to do today? And it will tell you based on everything it knows about you. And I even loaded up all of my personality profiles. I mentioned that I've been kind of a professional development junkie since I was a small kid, thanks to my dad. And so I have a DISC personality profile, a Myers Briggs, the Enneagram, like Strengths Finders, all of those different profiles. And I just loaded them all up and said, hey, ChatGPT, take a look at all these documents. Tell me what my, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. Why will I be good at this project? Why will I be bad? Who should I hire? There's a whole bunch of stuff that I could do. But again, as it learns more about me, that's why I put it as most likely to write your autobiography, which is funny because those are the ones you write yourself. It'd be more of a biography. But I think it could know all about you. It helped me write my book, Playful Humans, but also it can know your style now and learn more about you and what you want and how you go about market. And so you can use it to build trust and make it more about you and make your writing more authentic. But you can also reach the audience and customize messages for them. The obvious one I always use is foreign language because I don't speak any other languages. So if I want to connect with somebody in Spanish, that's really hard without AI. But now with AI, super easy.
Yeah.
They have tools now. Google released one in Google Meet a couple of months ago where I can be speaking English, you can be speaking Spanish on the other side of this live video call, and we will hear each other in our native languages. It'll translate, use your vocal tone, and everything just make you speak another language coming out the other side. That's crazy and super cool, but that makes you superhuman rather than like, oh, I'm just going to tell ChatGPT to go write all my marketing plan and posts and schedule it for me.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the things is it's with ChatGPT, it's moved beyond just writing social media posts. It's
Yeah.
moved way beyond that. And so now we have to start really thinking about how we can take it to that next level. So I love what you shared about giving it your voice, giving it all of your, your Myers-Briggs, your disc, like letting it know you. And I talk to my ChatGPT a lot. I talk to it in the car. When I'm going to like having some, hey, what should I say? For example, we were going through some personal stuff with what we should do for my daughter on which soccer club she should go with. Should she go with this club or should she go with this club? And I just, well, these are the positives, these are the negatives, these are the pros and cons. I talked about all of it, not only with my husband, but with ChatGPT. And it was great just to have like, like, well, tell me like what I'm not thinking about. Am I being too personal? So it's great having just trying to
Partner.
talk with ChatGPT in a
I
different
got an
way.
advanced tip for you and your listeners here on that one is you can actually give ChatGPT different personas. So I call my helper, my co-founder, Jenny, for generative AI. And whenever I've taught it and trained it and saved it now, that whenever I say, "Hey Jenny, I want you to respond in this manner. I want you to be a challenging co-founder with me to, look at the what might work, what might not work, tell me things that I'm not thinking about, do deep research and whatever you want it to do." But then you could say, "Hey, if I refer to you as Billy, I want you to give me the most fun things to do on a Friday night. I want you to tell me to stop working and like give me a pep talk about how much fun we can have, family time," and actually give it different personas so you can have kind of more than one AI helping you out.
I love that. I love that. Well, I feel like ChatGPT is kind of the most obvious AI that small business owners should be using and having in their tool belt.
100%.
Number 2 that you had on your list here was Zoom AI Companion, and you gave this one the perfect attendance award. So, talk to us about what the Zoom AI Companion does.
So for the record, there's a bunch: Fathom call recorders, Microsoft Copilot, anything that joins your meeting and takes notes is a very important part of this for several reasons. Number one is it just saves a ton of time. It sends the recap, it'll give you a list of what to do. I take the full transcripts from my meetings and then upload those to ChatGPT and say, keep this in the client file, tell me about what I need to do next, or keep track of the major, takeaways, decisions made, and next steps in every meeting. And once you do that, you start getting a real virtual assistant. Some of
Yeah.
these tools do more things than others. I love Zoom AI because I'm in a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff for work, and all my clients are virtual. So we just record every single meeting. I turn it on. It takes the transcript, but it also sends me the notes. With the transcript, I'll do this for client interviews and things where I'll ask for testimonials or give me a case study, or we're working on a blog post for your marketing. Tell me all your thoughts about cybersecurity. Ready, go. And they just dump it. And now I have their transcript of thoughts that I can take and put it into ChatGPT and say, write a consistent blog post from this that's in the voice of my client. And it works so much better. I call this degenerative AI, where generative AI takes your one line prompt and turns it into a full blog post or something. What I like to do is the opposite: take this podcast transcript, take this interview or meeting transcript, and sync it down to one or two lines that I need to remember, or the talking points, or the customer profile, whatever I'm trying to work on there. And AI is actually way more powerful when you ask it to synthesize a lot of data and pull it into something small, rather than going the other way, where it kind of just starts making stuff up. If you ask it to write a book for you and you give it a one line prompt, it's going to be a pretty bad book. But if you've written a book and you ask it to tell me what my unique positioning in the world is based on my book that I've written, it'll do a great job of a one line summary about what you do and who you do it for.
Well, and I think that too, like, so we once I was using Otter, for
Yeah.
a while, and then I switched over to Fathom, for my note taker, and it's made a huge difference because it allows me to be more present in meetings. I noticed before, like, I was having to take notes, or and for some people, it might help them to still, like, write notes or to type out
I
notes,
still
but,
do. Yeah, I'll take
you know,
paper notes.
for me, I file my nails. Like, this is the best way for me to pay attention and be really into the meeting. Like, okay, I'm making eye contact, I'm listening, and then I can go back and be like, I knew that they said something about this. What was it that they said? And I can type it and ask the Fathom, the note taker, and will say, oh, they said this. So I
Yeah.
100% agree. I love having the little robot follow me around to all my meetings. It's been a game changer.
So some of those do call scoring for people in sales, and I'll say, "Hey, this sales call was a C minus, man. You didn't even ask about, XYZ,
Yeah.
or you didn't even talk about budget here." Like that's great. But I do it for myself, even like, "Hey, this is my client. This is what we talked about. What questions should I have asked that I didn't? And if I get them on the phone next week, what should I ask next time?" And
Yeah.
start prepping myself and making me more prepared. Again, like that Jarvis idea of like, tell me something I don't know that
Yeah.
I missed in this transcript. And
Yep.
that's really powerful.
Oh, I love that. I love that idea. And especially too, like if you want to have a follow-up call with them, you say, hey, what did I miss? Asking them, how can I be better prepared? Not the great ideas. And one thing that I learned about, I want to say maybe 18 months ago, is your number 3 tool, and it's called Notebook LM. And you gave this one the award of most organized and best banter. Notebook LM, I thought when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know if I'm using it right. So just talk to us about Notebook LM, because once I figured out how to use it, I was like, oh, it was like I was like the mind blown emoji. So
Yeah.
talk to us about Notebook LM.
So this is a free tool from Google, which means it's free. Go use it, right? Nothing's stopping you. It's basically like a study guide on steroids. So you can upload up to 50 sources. They can be websites, they can be YouTube videos, they can be documents you have, your old presentations. Again, I uploaded my whole book, 250 pages of stuff. You can send it old podcast recordings. So I've had it like, here's one for you, Katie. Upload my last 50 guests and say, what were the top takeaways that everybody shared? I'm going to do a year end roll up. Like, tell me stuff out of this and give me the top talking points, or the most common book mentioned, or most common sales tool mentioned, and stuff in the podcast. And this is, again, that degenerative AI that like sums everything up for you. But then there's a couple of cool features on Notebook that people don't know about, which is the podcast feature and the video feature. And the podcast one, it got best banter there for me because it's a two-person AI talking to itself, male and female co-hosts, that will give you a 7 to 10 minute summary of whatever is in your notebook there. So if you're an auditory learner or you want to catch up on a bunch of information really fast, that's a great way to do it. But it'll print out study guides, FAQs, like flow charts, anything that you would want to do. So this is really great for like company information. If you have an employee handbook, or like standards and practices, or frequently asked questions on your ticket board, or export all your tickets into a file and upload those and then have Google go through it. The video one is also cool because it's basically a mini online course. It'll create like a 7 to 10 minute video with slides and infographics and make it engaging. And so then you could share that video with your employees and go, hey, here's the top 10 things you need to know from our employee handbook, and have them watch a little engaging video with again, a cool voice that has awesome inflection and really cool tonality and jokes. We'll have them watch that video rather than read this 30-page employee handbook.
I think that there's so many different great tools out there for podcasters, different AI tools. Co-host AI, it auto-generates the show notes, blog posts, social media. So talk about this one a little bit and how, the real world use case for co-host.
Yeah, and if we want, we can speed up and include Descript in here too, because this is
Yeah.
another category where it doesn't have to be co-host AI, but using something. I used to use Podium. It's podium.page is one great podcast tool. Descript does the same thing. Riverside and other tools have similar features to these now, but basically it's going to transcribe your podcast. It's going to level all of the audio. So if you have sound effects, or if you've done a sales presentation and you're not a podcaster and you have any type of recording, it will go through and make it sound like you're in a professional studio. Any like sounds that you played or guests that you have, volume level, so somebody's not screaming and the other person, you can barely hear them on the other end of the line. But collect all of those words you said and turn those into a title, a description, comma separated keywords, anything that you need to put it out there. And then you and I know obviously about a ton of podcasting tools. You can just call Katie on this one, or have her team do it for you. Syndicating that podcast everywhere you would want to put it on, Apple, iTunes, Google, whatever. It's all handled for you automatically now. So you can just focus on having a good show.
Yep.
But if you're not a podcaster, having somebody clean up your presentation or a video thing, if it's internal, a speech you got to give. I like to use it for a lot of demos when both you and I do public speaking too. And I'll say, hey, Newburyport Chamber, I'm going to be speaking to you on January 11th. And here's the thing. And all of a sudden it sounds cool. It looks cool. It's cleaned it all up. It'll write the copy and takeaway for the email announcement, whatever I need it to do from these videos. And if I need to edit and I messed up, Descript is my go-to tool. Riverside is also one that I have. I own several of these, but you can edit from the transcript now.
Yep.
And if you mess up a word or whatever and just tripped over your words, you're like, oh, now I have to re-record this whole video I was doing. No, you can just type in the new word and it'll change your lips to say that word, and you go on about your business. It's been a game changer.
So I actually am going to be speaking at a couple events here coming up. I'm speaking at Podcast Movement. I'm speaking at CEX. I'm speaking at the Empowered Podcasting Conference over the next few weeks. And all of these presentations I'm having to put together. Uh, this one I was actually not aware of until
Ooh.
you and I were talking, and it's called Gamma. Talk to us about Gamma.
It is the magic of like when you saw ChatGPT the first time. Gamma is the same way. Again, $20 a month, but it's a presentation creator, so making PowerPoint. But I know Google's added Microsoft Copilot into PowerPoint, but they're taking this old PowerPoint software that's been around for 40 years now, and they're slopping AI on top of it to kind of help you write stuff. This is, imagine if you had like a magic wand in the AI world and said, "Hey AI, I want you to make a presentation about X to this audience." And you can do it from a one-line prompt like that. It will lay it out. It'll generate all the images from AI. It'll write the whole copy. You can decide whether you want a few words, a lot of words, concise, bullet points. You decide on the format and stuff. And it writes your whole presentation, lays it out beautifully, does all the fonts and themes, and adds your logo and everything you want it to do. And you just watch it like magic. I've been debating whether to do this on stage, Katie. So for my next one, I'm going to try and be like, I forgot my presentation. I left my thumb drive here. Let me just make this real quick and just make my presentation in Gamma live on stage and then deliver whatever it pops up, because it's really that good.
That'd be really cool. I would
But
love to see that in real
yeah,
time. That'd be really
but it's
awesome.
awesome. If you get really good at writing prompts, it does really well. But also you can upload your old presentation. And so you have three of these. Say, hey, I'm delivering the same topic, right? This is the dirty little secret, right? But take this one I'm doing for Pod Profits and rewrite it for the CEX conference. And then all of a sudden it'll change the words on your PowerPoint and rewrite it for that audience. And if you don't like layouts, you can click the little magic wand button and it'll generate 5 different infographics or graphical layouts for you. You can create your outline in ChatGPT and paste the outline into Gamma, and then it'll make your presentation and keep all the words on that you had from the outline and stuff. If you liked it, better in your voice from ChatGPT, it's it's the coolest thing. As somebody that presents, or if you're in marketing too, you make a lot of presentations. There's
Yeah.
internal presentations, there's stuff you need infographics for. Gamma also does social graphics. So if you want a LinkedIn carousel or a cool image or anything, I use it for all my blog thumbnails and stuff now. It's really my second go-to behind ChatGPT.
So it's the final
Yeah.
countdown here. It's time to talk about writing. So I have used to use a tool called Grammarly all the time. And then when ChatGPT came out, I was like, I don't need this Grammarly tool. Well, now I've started using it again, and it's been a big help. So talk to us about Grammarly and why we might want to consider bringing that back into our toolkit.
Well, this one had to go on the list for me. I'm a little dyslexic. In high school, in one of the placement tests, I went 0 for 20 on the guess which word is misspelled and multiple choice tests for placement. I got put in a remedial reading class, even though I had straight A's, because I was that bad of a speller in grammar. It wasn't until college where I had a really cool professor that said, like, you hear the music in the words. You're a really great storyteller. I have editors at the school paper. We'll have them edit it for you. You write the story, they'll edit it, and then we'll publish. I was like, deal. And that was a game changer for me. That was when I finally believed that I could write. And
Yeah.
now instead of paying human editors, I can have an AI editor. And that's what Grammarly does for me, is just, I worry about saying the message that resonates with the audience. Grammarly will clean it up, put the commas in the right place, take out the M dashes ChatGPT throws in, fix all your spelling. It makes your writing stronger. You can set different personas and writing styles in there, whether you want more casual, or if you want it, you're writing a research document or a scientific publication, you can put in, I want it to follow all the grammar rules and everything in there. But that one just saves me a ton of time. It'll finish your sentences. You can do a lot of stuff in Teams now too, that if you want standard words, it'll learn stuff that you use that other, spell check always gets like names, unusual last
Yeah.
names or company brand images. I do the A9 factor and it
Yeah.
wants to rewrite it every time to something else. Grammarly, you can save all those. It's super cool. But I don't think I put this one on the list, but a new favorite tool I have now is Whisper. It's a dictation software, Whisper Flow. And I click 2 buttons on my computer and I just say what I want. and it dictates in what I said, and it puts everything into context. And then I'll run it through Grammarly, and it underlines all the stuff that I messed up or missaid or should be improved. And then I'm really, as fast as I can talk or think, getting all of my writing and words into the computer without having to use my hands. I had carpal tunnel when I was a professional marketer a couple of years ago because I was just writing like 10,000 words a week for
Yeah.
marketing copy.
LinkedIn is one of the best places to make new connections and have those, you know, people go on LinkedIn to talk shop, to talk business.
Yeah.
I get a lot of leads on LinkedIn. So you gave Sales Connector as most likely to slide into your LinkedIn DMs. Talk to us about Sales Connector.
So again, there's a ton of tools that do this same one. So if you don't like Sales Connector, or you don't, you have another tool you would like for this, I would recommend that everybody does it, at least for connecting, because there's a lot that we can't see as humans, like all those suggested connections, or even LinkedIn Sales Navigator will save a search of prospects maybe that you want to reach out to, but then you have to go in every day and you have to add them and you have to send this message and all this stuff. So again, I don't do the Terminator thing. It can, and other tools will try to have the whole conversation and set an appointment for you, and send 11 different touch points, nurturing sequences and things after. I don't do it for that, but I've added over 2,000 LinkedIn connections in the last 3 months just by having it add the suggested connections, the people that are in my target audience, and send them a nice welcome message like, hey, I'm in marketing. I'm trying to learn about AI tools. If you know of any, connect with me and tell me what your favorite tool is that's actually worth the money. And I just do that one opening message. If somebody replies, great. If they don't, I do have one other follow-up message, which is like, hey, I actually want to have a conversation. What's going on in your world? And if they don't reply to that, I just let it go. But I like having these first touches that it's just a pain in the ass. And the generic connect with me messages just feels like you didn't put any time and effort into it. So I think it is a human first, trust-based way to at least reach out and say hi to people
Yeah.
that are in your target market without being spammy.
I love it. And I 100% agree. Like all of these tools that we've talked about today allow us to work smarter, to connect faster, to move faster. But, if a small business owner is not going to, actually sign up and use all of them, and we've talked at the very beginning about how it's important to have human first touch point. If people were going to just choose one tool to start with, which tool would you suggest they walk away with today?
Oh man, I think you have to go with ChatGPT really, because it does all of the other things and it continues to get better. And so there's a free version. Just try it, start figuring it out, get more creative with the ideas that you've heard today, and argue with it. Don't take what it says for granted, and if it's not giving you what you want, keep fighting. Give it more detail, less detail. Do it in smaller steps. A lot of people try to do one shot prompts, which is just like, hey, write this whole thing for me, and it's not great at that. But the best tip I can say is do it a thing at a time. Give me 10 suggestions for a title for a blog post. Great. Give me 10 suggestions with this title that I liked out of yours about what would be covered in the outline of this blog. Then after you have the outline, then you ask it, okay, go ahead and write this post, but throw in this and this. And my call to action is I have this free list of tools at avenue9.com/tools. And you can have it put it in there. And then it'll write a really great blog post for you.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit of practice and it takes a little back and forth.
And I think that, the more that you use these AI tools, the better that you'll get. If you give it a bad prompt, you're going to get a bad output. You can't just, like you said earlier, you can't just say, hey, write a book for me on this topic, because then you're going to get a pretty bad book. But if you use all these tools, you start feeding it this stuff, you start educating these different AI tools, it's going to know more about you, more about what your differentiator is, more about your brand. If people want to learn more about you, connect with you, learn about different AI tools, what's the best way for them to do that?
The nice thing is I'm in internet marketing. So you can just Google Mike Montague or Avenue 9 and you'll find it. But LinkedIn is my tool of choice for communications. If you want to connect with me there, avenue9.com has all the links to the blog and the podcast. Since you're listening or watching to a podcast right now, check out the Human First AI Marketing Show. I've interviewed about 50 experts so far in different areas of AI. And I feel like AI and marketing really is so big these days that it's got to be a team sport. No one person can know everything that's going on. So, subscribe to Katie's show and then check out mine. And between the two of us, you'll get more information about marketing than you can handle. It'll be great.
But it's true. Well, and I think that with AI, it's constantly moving. It's constantly moving.
So fast.
I kind of forgot about a couple of the tools. Grammarly was one I was like, oh yeah, I probably should check out Grammarly again. Gamma was one that I was not even using, but I'm definitely going to be checking that one out because I do a ton of presentations. So Mike, I can't thank you enough for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing today. This has been an awesome conversation.
So good to be here. Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.